Hi, this is Keagy from Night Ranger, and this is Backstage Access, where the real show begins. Check it out.
Hey, this is Chris with Backstage Access, and we have a very special guest here with us today, drummer and vocalist from Night Ranger, Keagy. Welcome to Backstage Access. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. First off, I wanted to say congratulations on, 35 years of Night Ranger.
How about that, huh? Whoever thought?
Well, looking back, did you ever think the band would still be rocking America after 35 years?
No, actually, I was just talking to somebody about this, and they were asking me, how did you ever get this far? And it was like, we just wanted to get to the second record. It's like when they were asking, you want to sell millions of records? And we were like, no, we just want to sell enough to go back in and make another one. Because we have all these songs, We got all these songs that we want to put on. We couldn't fit them on the first one,
Absolutely. So now it's many, many records later, and we have a brand new record about to be released, Don't Let Up. Would you tell us a little bit about the album and also about how the band kind of approaches making a new record at this point in your career?
The last three records that we've made have been kind of like a milestone for us, and it's a totally different approach we've been taking on them, which is not coming in with any pre-written songs. And like for the last three records, Somewhere in California, High Road, and this album, we would just get in a room and we would just just kind of jam. Like what the jazz musicians do. They just kind of like improvise, and they just kind of play grooves, and they just kind of expand on theme. And that's how we've been writing the last three records, and this one especially, was like that. We just got together and started to just like basically jam. And when you're a musician, that's one thing you like doing, and playing jazz or funk or whatever, And we just get in there, and we just somebody has a riff, or somebody has like a groove, like I'll play a groove or something. Somebody has a riff, or somebody has an idea for a chorus. Okay. And so and then we'll just go, that sounds great. That could be a verse or what. And knowing each other so well, the three of us, right? We would just go with that. And we just kind of like let that happen and expand outward and let it like flourish and blossom.
Sure. Now, a lot of the bands from the 80s era, they don't even bother putting out new music anymore. How important is it for Night Ranger to kind of keep that creativity and new product flowing?
Well, it's not even about product. I think it's more about being creative. It's like every 2 or 3 years we just get that itch of like right. We need to write some new songs. And all of us individually do that too. Sure. So when we get together, the three of us. It's always out of like some need of like, okay, we need to write some new songs. It's just about that. Like, let's do a new album. Let's do some new stuff. So that's where it comes from. And it's not really about of course it's not about selling records anymore. Right. It's about having your fans your fans want to hear new material from you. So in that way, that's what drives us to want to create new stuff, is because they want to hear it. Sure. And so we want to please them.
Absolutely. Now, a few of the tracks have been streaming for a little bit now. What has the reaction been so far to those tracks? I think it was the title track and then Comfort Me.
Right. Yeah, those are the first ones out. It's been great. It's been overwhelming in a lot of ways, because you never know. Every record, like from the beginning, you just never know what's going to happen. If people are going to just like turn off to it. But at the same time, when you're being creative, and you can't think about, well, what's everybody going to think about this? You just have to let it out and let it happen. And people don't like it. It doesn't matter. But with this, we're just happy to be in this situation that we can still create and still enjoy what we do.
Sure. Now, the band also self-produces a lot in this record. How involved are you in the production aspect? Is that something that you enjoy?
Absolutely. We're all pretty good at it.
Okay.
We all have our own studios, but we also need that one person, which has been Anthony Fox for the past 3 albums. He is like the guy that we bounce stuff off of. He's kind of in there. He's not really a co-producer because the 3 of us, are doing it, but he's a confidant. We love having him to bounce stuff off of. We love having somebody that knows sound, and so a lot of times, we'll do demos, but then he has to come in and actually make them sound good. He does it all mixes. He's involved in doing vocals with us a lot of times, or guitars.
Okay.
So any of that stuff that's right at the end of the album, we got to have him involved because he's just one of our good buddies, and he's really good at what he does. Sure.
Now, Night Ranger always puts on such an outstanding live show. Would you tell us a little bit about the upcoming tour?
Well, I think that what we do is we like to create an atmosphere that is going to let people relax and enjoy themselves, and maybe not think about, maybe they don't want to think about their job or whatever.
Sure.
And that's what it's about. I think it's what rock and roll music is supposed to be about too. Is supposed to be about just enjoying yourself. And I think that what we do is we have such a good time off stage with each other, bantering back and forth, laughing and joking, that we bring that on stage with us, and people see that, and then when we ask them to come in with us, there's no question, they come right in with us. So
now, for this setup, could you tell us a little bit about what your kit setup will be like for this tour?
I mean, I'm one of the old school guys that doesn't like to change.
Okay.
So I'm gonna probably have the same kit.
Okay.
That I had the last 3 years, because it's like when you get in your car and you're comfortable. Okay, you get in there, you start driving. I mean, that's how I like it to be, because being a singer, I don't want much to change. So I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. I know that DW, my company, has said, "Hey, what are you gonna do for 35 years? You want a new kit?" And I'm like, I don't know. I like this kit too much. It's been serving me really well. I mean, I don't know what else I would do. Even if I got a new kit, it would probably look exactly the same.
Right. Now, you mentioned, singing as well, and being a drummer, that's, such a physical thing in and of itself, but then you add vocals to that, and you really have a lot going on. So how do you kind of keep the energy up, and how do you keep everything going during the live shows?
Well, I think it's important to be able to monitor your air intake and stuff like that. Also, it's all about being healthy, and I think that at this age, we have to really concentrate on that. We have to be aware of what our body's telling us, and I think that I work at it. I really concentrate on, okay, how am I going to sing this song and play? Sometimes I might have to maybe not play as hard.
Sure.
Just so I have enough air to sing,
Sure, absolutely. Now, how did you first get into playing the drums? Was that your first musical choice?
Yeah, it was. And it was the neighbor across the street was, when I was 7. He was taking guitar lessons, and I would go over there and I would sing the songs with him, and then we discovered his cousin had a drum set in his closet, and we discovered it one time, and we wanted to bring it back, and I'll figure out how to play this with you, and while you're, figuring out how to play your guitar and stuff like that. So that's how it got started, and then I just naturally started singing.
Okay.
And it just happened that way,
Now, who's the drummer that you would say influenced you the most over the years?
Well, I'd have to say, as an overall artist, I would have to say Ringo Starr, because when I was young, I remember listening to, him at the Hollywood Bowl, and he was singing behind the drum set, and I was going, oh my God. It's like right when I was starting to play, I was like, I have to know how to do this. I have to figure out how to do this. And so that was the beginning of the whole thing of singing and playing,
Cool, very cool. Now, Night Ranger, of course, your music has been involved in so many different things. It's been in TV shows, movies, video games, Broadway musical. Is there anything that Night Ranger hasn't done in that respect that you would like to do?
I think that we have done a lot. I think that I would just like to do. I would like to play a longer set, and I would like to play more songs that weren't necessarily the songs that got played on the radio.
Okay.
And play like what Springsteen does. Where he plays like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And he plays all this extra stuff. I think that would be like an amazing night for me to have all these extra songs in there that we haven't been able to put in the set.
That would be fantastic from a fan's perspective as well, because I know we would all love to see something like that.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, would you love to tell us a little bit about your work with the Musicians Hall of Fame in Nashville and what that's all about?
Absolutely. I got asked by Joe Chambers to do a little more of a coming out worldwide.
Okay.
For the Musicians Hall of Fame, because it was like his little pet project that he started, and then all of a sudden it just exploded. And when I went down there to see all this like gear and famous like consoles and tape machines that were and instruments that were used on famous songs, I was blown away. And in fact, I was blown away about the one section that he had about Elvis in Memphis. He took the studio and he brought some of the walls and the sound booth that Elvis stood in front of.
Wow.
And refused to go into because he was like, I'm too confined, man. I gotta move around. I gotta do this. So they took the wall and they rebuilt the wall, and the vocal booth behind him, and then also the whole section of the LA musicians, that they brought in all the drum sets and all the bass guitars and all the stuff that were played on all the the Beach Boys and played on Sonny and Cher and the whole West Coast thing, and once I was in there and I saw all this stuff, and a lot of the musicians I knew, and that I'd known about, but that I had a chance to meet over the last 30 plus years. And I was like, Joe, what if I go and I start talking about this in interviews, and people need to come to Nashville and they need to see the Musicians Hall of Fame, because it's about the unsung heroes that played the tracks that weren't artists. They weren't they were played behind the artists, and they created the music. But they weren't listed on the records,
Right.
It was like the Wrecking Crew, They have a movie out now in the last 3 years, the Wrecking Crew. But I actually had a chance to meet some of those musicians when I was a young, up-and-coming musician in L.A. And it was like these guys were playing on all the tracks. And it was like, what about, it's like the Funk Brothers, So I got so excited. You can hear the pitch of my voice is going way up. Because once you go there and you realize this place is it's like the holy grail of pop music in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. you will just be like, you'll be like beside yourself. You'll just go in there and you want to spend like the whole day there. And that's what I did. And I keep going back there because I live here. I keep going back there going, you know, because there's so much content in there. When you go in there, you can't take it all in. You have to go back, and I take pictures and I look at them and I go, I want to go back and see that, you know, that console that they made, you know, certain records on. And then there's a whole section on Nashville and all the players that did that. Basically, the guys that came in and did all the Garth Brooks records. You know, all those guys were there when they did the coming out party for the Grammy section. They opened a whole new Grammy section. It's all about the Grammys and all these players. And oh my God, that place is just insane.
Well, I will definitely have to add that one to my bucket list the next time I'm out Nashville way.
Do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. The new album will be out soon. Don't Let Up. It's fantastic, and we hope to catch you out on the road.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate the opportunity.
You made your mind.